One man felt deeply hurt. This man experienced betrayal and abandonment by people he trusted. He faced intense disappointment when he realized that those he considered friends were neither loyal nor sincere. This painful experience led him to a radical decision to distance himself from all relationships to avoid further suffering, opting for a solitary life to protect himself from past hurts. This feeling of distrust and disappointment shaped his desire to understand and discern the true nature of the people around him. This young man decided to go out into the mountains in search of peace and tranquility. The man's encounter with the monk happened unexpectedly during a solitary walk. Faced with a fragile emotional state and disillusioned with human relationships, the man spotted a small temple hidden among the trees of a forest. This peculiar setting aroused his curiosity, leading him to approach the temple, where he found a wise monk meditating quietly. Moved by a mixture of despair and longing for answers, the man decided to interrupt the monk's meditation to seek guidance. He saw in the monk a possible source of wisdom and hope, someone who could offer insights into how to discern between genuine and false people, a question that tormented him deeply due to his experiences of disappointment and betrayal by his supposed friends. The monk asked what was bothering the young man, and after the young man explained that he was disappointed with the people around him, he would like to know how to identify whether people are false or true to him, so the monk said he would try to explain, telling a story about a generous and kind king. The story of the king portrays a wise and kind monarch who, despite being surrounded by advisors, ministers and courtiers, faced uncertainty about the loyalty of his subjects. Concerned about the authenticity of the relationships around him, the king devised a plan to test the sincerity of his servants. He spread a rumor that he was seriously ill and close to death, summoning all his servants and officials to bid him farewell. Each individual had the opportunity to approach the king and express their feelings. All his subjects and officials said nice words, how the king had been a friend, how much they liked the king. But all these words were lies, because his servants and officials only approached the king to flatter him and try to take some kind of advantage of that delicate moment. Then, into the king's chambers came a simple peasant, far from the palace and the court spotlight, who genuinely came to offer his farewell to the king, while the courtiers and ministers, with beautiful and flattering words, tried to please the monarch. The peasant, moved by sincerity and gratitude, expressed his true feelings to the king, recalling the support and generosity he had received at a difficult time. This humble peasant was the only one to demonstrate a true emotional connection and genuine gratitude to the king, revealing his authenticity and loyalty in contrast to the falsehood of the other courtiers. By recognizing the peasant's genuineness, the king understood the difference between self-interested flattery and true friendship, valuing sincerity and genuine affection over empty, self-interested words. This revelation transformed the king's view of loyalty and friendship, leading him to recognize the true value of relationships based on sincerity and mutual affection. The difference between true and false people is emphasized by actions and words during the crucial moment when the king tests the loyalty of his subjects. The attitudes of the false subjects were marked by a series of exaggerated compliments and flattery to the king, expressing false gratitude and admiration. Each of them, when approaching the monarch, uttered words carefully chosen to please him, emphasizing his qualities and claiming a loyalty that didn't exist. They devoted themselves to an empty speech, seeking only to please the king in order to maintain his favors and benefits. On the other hand, the peasant's words were genuine and charged with real emotion. He expressed his sincere sadness at the king's supposed illness, revealing true gratitude and love. His speech was not pompous or overly elaborate, but simple, direct, and full of sincere memories of the king's acts of kindness towards him. This contrast between the actions and words of the self-interested courtiers and the genuine peasant highlights the crucial difference between true and false people. While the false ones used empty words and superficial compliments to gain favor, the genuine peasant expressed his appreciation and gratitude based on real experiences of help and generosity on the part of the king. This distinction highlighted the importance of observing not only what is said, but also the actions and motivations behind the words in order to identify authenticity in human relationships. The moral of the story highlights the importance of valuing and cultivating genuine friendships, based on essential values such as sincerity, loyalty, respect, and love. The story of the king and his subjects serves as a powerful metaphor for everyday life, highlighting the importance of discerning between true and superficial friendships. The discovery of the peasant as the only authentic individual in the midst of the sycophants reveals that true friendship is not based on empty words or selfish interests, but on genuine actions and feelings. The moral of the story highlights the importance of nurturing and valuing authentic relationships, in which sincerity and mutual respect are fundamental. It emphasizes the need to build bonds of trust and loyalty, based on real demonstrations of support, gratitude, and mutual care. True friendship, according to this story, goes beyond appearances and personal interests, and is characterized by a deep emotional connection, mutual understanding, and unconditional support. Therefore, the moral of the story encourages the search for relationships based on authenticity and genuine values, guiding people to value and cultivate true friendships, where sincerity, loyalty, respect, and love are the fundamental foundations for a lasting and meaningful relationship. At the end of the story, the monk concluded his narrative, leaving a deep reflection on the importance of true relationships. With a serene smile, he looked at the man and said, "Just like the king, each of us faces the search for genuineness in the midst of falsehood. We have learned that the value of true relationships outweighs any superficial flattery." The man, touched by the monk's wisdom, thanked him gratefully. "Your words have been like a beacon on my path. Thank you for making me see beyond appearances." If this story has touched your heart and made you reflect on your relationships, I invite you to join us. Subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories like this one. Together, we can cultivate values that strengthen our human connections. Until the next Zen story.